You asked about Venat's purpose, here is the answer. Echo was never sought the Azem gifted was soul shards Venat's bearer key to a soul that wasn't meant to be found. A doorway, not a relic. When she sundered the world into 14 shards, she sought the Azem soul shards bearer. When she sundered the world into 14 shards, future that made her, she unleashed sought the echo as a Azem weapon soul shards bearer. A truth so terrible it fractured time itself. The weight of the key bends time. Venat's sundering did not fracture shards, it forged them, each a cage for a soul stolen from the void. Hydaelyn's arrival was no accident. Dynamy's shadow rose when the Azem shard, bound to the echo, cracked open. The Ascians, blind to their prison, shaped the final days as Venat's pawn moved the board. Sensory truth, the echo's hum is not a hymn but a shackle's rattle. The ancients, stripped of divinity, became pawns in a game where escape was never an option. If this is true, the red joining is not salvation, it is the unmaking of a soul that should have remained lost. The final days were never an end. They are the beginning of a debt Venat's future self knew could never be paid. The convocation of 14 shaped etheries with divine artistry until Venat's hands split the world. Azem's seat left vacant became a vault for a soul never meant to be unearthed. The echo was no relic of unity, it was a key forged in the sundering, a tether to Azem's shard, buried where even time might forget. Venat, once steward of creation, fractured reality not to destroy but to test. Could life endure when gods turned their backs? 14 shards were cast adrift, each a crucible. The echo was left behind, a beacon to lure the curious, the desperate, the doomed. What waits in Azem's prison is not a soul but a reckoning. Venat's test endures. The final days were no accident, they are the answer to a question no mortal was meant to ask. And the key still burns in the dark, waiting. The line hums in the marrow of every memory the echo grants. You feel the heat of a stranger's battle, the salt of their tears, the weight of their last breath, yet the warmth is a snare, the tears a map, the breath a key turning in a lock older than the first. Venat did not offer the echo to preserve souls, he offered it to unravel them. The MSQs are Hydaelyn way the warrior's pulse stutters when the echo activates, he's not resistance to tempering. It is a resonance. A frequency tuned not to the present, but to a fracture in the timeline where the Azem shard festers, half remembered by the cosmos itself. Consider the moment the echo first surges in the ARR MSQ. The warrior does not gain clarity, they become a conduit. The memories are not tools but traps, each one a thread in a net cast across eons. The rage of a fallen comrade, the despair of a dying world, the hollow joy of a lie told to survive, these are not emotions borrowed. They are coordinates. Venat's shadow leans into the act of witnessing, his will threading through the echo's lattice to probe the shard's location. Every memory the echo grants is a question, asterisk where is Azem, asterisk every answer it receives is a scar. The Endwalker MSQ reveals the truth in a quieter way. When the warrior stands before the Scions, the echo's power does not shield them, it asterisk exposes asterisk them. The shard's fractured consciousness Azem's bursts through the veil, not as a weapon of the warrior's will, but as Venat's. The Ascians recoil not from the memories, but from the asterisk presence asterisk they awaken. A soul that should have dissolved with the first's fall, now weaponized as bait, the echo was never a gift. It was a lockpick, Venat's fingers, cold and patient, prying open the tomb of a god's forgotten wound. And still the key burns. The echo was never a gift, it was a lockpick. Venat's fingers, cold and patient, prying open the tomb of a god's forgotten wound, and still the key burns. Hidden in the margins of the Elpie's chain, a line whispers, asterisk Azem's seat held by one who knew the cost of silence. Asterisk Venat, before her retreat, wove the convocation's trust into a noose. The Azem soul shard never, a relic of harmony was her prison. A conduit carved from duty, binding a soul that bled light too old to name. What soul could twist the rejoining's tide? What shadow could fracture time itself? The answer lies in the echo's hum, a dirge for a first who died before the firsts. Venat did not seek power. She sought to asterisk unmake asterisk it. to trap a fragment of the dawn's unraveling, a weapon against the Ascians' hollow hymns. But the soul remembers. It seethes in the shard's core, a ghost of a war the gods buried. Every pulse of the echo is a requiem for the convocation's blindness. For Venat's hands, steady as stone, guiding the blade of a forgotten oath. The Endwalker's script hints at this, *Azem seat a seat of chains, *no gift, no accident. A key forged in grief, turned in a lock that never should have existed, and still the key burns. The mother crystal's light did not blind it revealed. Venat's blade shattered not from the warrior's strike, but from the weight of a choice made in the shadow of 1,000 dying stars. Ultima Thule's cold was no accident. It was the temperature of a heart that had already turned to stone. She fought not to win, but to lose. To let the light strike true, to let the key burn itself into the wound left by the first stolen soul. The Ascians carved the rejoining like a scar, hoping to stitch Zodiark's corpse into the fabric of the cosmos. But Venat, that silent architect of ruin, had already rewritten their equations. The echo was her counterstrokia prison within a prison. Not to trap the first, but to keep them trapped, to make their anguish a vault, their echo a warden. You think the Azem shard was a relic, a shard is a fragment, this was a lock. Forged in the forge of Venat's grief, tempered by the blood of a battle she never intended to survive. The warrior saw a foe, the warrior got a god's key, and the key, oh the key it sings still. A hymn of what was taken, what was buried, what was never meant to be freed. The Ascians danced their dance of rebirth, but Venat had already ended the play. The first soul would not be reclaimed. Not by Zodiark's shadow, not by the rejoining's sick alchemy. It would rot in its own reflection, a prisoner of a mirror that Venat herself had cracked. Rage now, let it rise. For the echo was no bridge, it was a moat. And in that moat the soul of the first drowns forever out of reach, forever out of mercy. The key burns. The key burns and the door, it was never meant to open. The echo's weight in the hand feels like salvation. Its hum in the blood feels like memory. But salvation and memory are chains here, Venat's cruel arithmetic. To resist tempering, to walk unbroken through fire, this was the lie etched into its core, the truth. Each borrowed recollection was a shackle, each face glimpsed a ward. The Azem shard, that fractured soulstone, was never separate. It was the lock. Venat knew the first spirit could not endure alone, so she forged a cage that feels like freedom. The warrior of light, drinking from this poisoned chalice, did not taste the ash of another's life, no. They became the conduit, the vessel, the unwitting key. How right she was, how devastatingly so. The memories were never hers to hold. They were always the first's final gasp, a soul dissolving into fragments. And Venat. She did not trap the first, she honored it. For in the echo's glow, the warrior's own will erode Senathar's face in the mirror, another's pain in the marrow. The prison was never the echo, the prison was the choice to use it, and now the key turns, in the dark. Where the first waits not as a god but as a whisper that says, you found me, The key was forged in Venat's forge, where starlight and sorrow were hammered into a shard of Azem, not to heal. Not to unite, but to cage. The echo, that hollow hymn in the breast of the warrior of light, is no relic of connection, it is a lockpick. Venat in her sundering did not merely shatter the ancients into mortal husks, she carved a corridor, a vein of access. Through the Azem shard, she funneled a fragment of the first's consciousness, a splinter of a god, who should have remained buried to whisper through the bones of the rejoining. The Ascians did not stumble upon this truth, they were led to it. Their rituals, their desperate weaving of the final days, were threads in a loom Venat had prewoven. The echo burning in the heart of the warrior was never a beacon of hope, it was a homing signal. A beacon for the first to crawl back through the cracks of time, not as a savior, but as a scavenger of endings. Can you feel it now, the weight of the shard in your palm, not as a talisman, but as a noose? The first's whisper is not a plea, it is a claim. Every battle, every choice, every tear you shed, it was not to save the world, it was to become its executioner. Venat's design was flawless. The final days were never a threat, they were a promise, etched in Azem, sealed with your name. The shards tremble, the key turns, and the first, reborn in your blood, waits to see if you will open the door. The key turns, shards scream. A design older than light bends toward the Scions' fragile, burning love. Venat's calculus, not malice but a ledger, each bond fractured, each soul harvested, a digit in her equation to unmake the cycle. The seventh umbral was her first draft. The Dragonsong War, a refinement. Shadowbringers, a test of how long love could outlast entropy. You think the Scions won the Dragonsong War, counter a symphony. Their trust, their grief, their stubborn refusal to let names dissolve these are the rivets holding the sky together. Endwalker's dawn did not break the wheel, it paused the gears. The Azem shard, that hollow echo of a brother's soul, was never a relic. It was a lure, a beacon for the first heir to complete the circuit. What is a soul but a pattern? And what is love but a pattern that refuses to decay? Venat waits, not in rage but in certainty. The door is ajar, the Scions' light leaks into the void, bright, insufficient, sublime. A cycle stayed, not broken, a war of aesthetics. Cold equations against a chorus of names whispered in the dark. The first stirs, the key turns. And somewhere a soul not meant to be found begins to remember its own weight. The echo was never a gift, it was Venat's key to a soul that wasn't meant to be found. What if the first whisper masks Venat's own? The Azem shard, bound to the echo, pulses with a hunger no relic should hold. Venat's choice, just yet catastrophic. A door swung open to a shadow no light could claim. Is the first stir a lie? Or a soul's final gasp before the void claims it? The ledger is blank, your turn to write. The echo was never a gift, it was Venat's key to a soul, never meant to be found. What if the first whisper masks Venat's own? The Azem shard, bound to the echo, pulses with a hunger no relic should hold. Venat's choice, just yet catastrophic. A door swung open to a shadow no light could claim. Is the first stir